So I want you to raise your hand if you were the kid in class that used to like doodle all over everything, all over the desk, the notebooks, the regular books, because that was me. And now I can finally do it on an e-reader. Hi Slayers, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eileen, and in today's video I am very excited to be talking to you about my personal favorite e-reader, the Kobo Libra Color 2. As some of you may know, I have a lot of different e-readers, but this one is my personal favorite. This is my daily driver. This is the one I bought specifically for myself because I was so excited to try it and I just couldn't resist. So some context if you're new here, I've owned a Kindle e-reader for many, many years. If you don't know my tragic backstory about it, basically, I read it a lot when I was in 8th grade because I had no friends and I read it during lunch and it was my best friend and you know, that's all nice and dandy. I named it Henry and everything. But I had it since 2018, so it was getting kind of old and I really wanted a new one. So I wanted to do my due diligence and find which one worked best for me, and ultimately I decided on the Kobo Libra Color. And so even though I have some more friends than I used to have, I still eat lunch alone sometimes and choose to read on my Kobo. So I hope by the end of this video you'll understand why. And I'm going to tell you all about that and why I moved from Kindle to Kobo. Okay, to start off, I'm going to be talking to you all about the pros of getting a Kobo Libra Color and why I love mine so much. So the main feature is annotation. That's right, you can annotate on an ebook and you can actually write on the ebook, which is insane. I love reading on ebooks and I love annotating physical books, and that's not something that really had a lot of crossover until now, but using this device, it is just so nice to even have the option to annotate. If you just want to like underline a little thing or like circle a little thing, this is perfect for that. And it's a really, really cool feature that I haven't really seen in any other competitor. I know that the Kindle Oasis or the Kindle Scribe, you can write on it, but it actually just makes like a sticky note, which kind of defeats the purpose of like feeling like you're annotating a book. And I thought that you could do this on your iPad with the Kindle app, but you absolutely cannot. But until now, this is like the first product that I've really seen that allows you to actually annotate right on top of your book, which is so cool. You can annotate like literally on the text itself if you want. So there is a sold separately stylus, and of course you can get the Kobo without the stylus, but I personally wanted the stylus really bad. So I got the stylus, and basically it doesn't have like the world's best palm rejection or the world's best writing experience, but it's definitely doable for if you're just reading quickly on an e-reader, which is what I'm assuming you're doing. Personally, I find it really enjoyable, and maybe I'm a little bit blindsided by just the fact that it is so cool that I can annotate with it. I think that the annotation feature is really, really cool and really helps me be engaged a little bit more with my books. And of course, this is not for everyone. I understand most people probably don't annotate their books at all, but I just like to write silly little things in my books and like have my reactions to big moments. And this makes me feel a lot more engaged and like a lot more like I'm having fun. And that's what reading's all about, right? To have fun. I do know that you can technically have notebooks as well, almost like the remarkable e-ink pad, which is pretty cool. It's not really a feature that I use. I mostly will just annotate right on top of the book because I think it looks really cool and I feel like it helps keep things all in one place. If you're wondering kind of how that works, you can write all over the margins, you can write under the text, over the text, it works everywhere. But if you were to change your settings, so say you had the font size small and then you wanted to make it bigger, but you already annotated a part of the book with those settings, it'll still show it to you, it just won't look exactly the same. It gives it to you like almost like a screenshot of how you did it when you originally wrote on the book. Okay, and then of course the next biggest pro is yes, it has color. It is not like an iPad screen color or anything, it's definitely e-ink color. To me, it's almost like a bonus feature. Like, of course you don't need color to read an ebook, but it's really nice to have, and personally I've really grown to love this feature because I'll highlight in different colors almost like I'm tabbing a book in real life, and I think that that's just so cool and fun and very helpful to annotate if you don't want to like whip out the whole pen. And of course if you're someone that reads graphic novels, I think this is a great feature for you. I read Heartstopper on it and it was delightful. I had a great time. The color is a really big bonus, and those are two things that are not in a lot of e-readers in the market at the moment, so they're very much like standout features and features that to me were worth the switch over from Kindle to Kobo. A couple of just general great things across the board. The battery life is fantastic. I haven't had any issues with it. I feel like it's charged really well. It charges with a USB-C plug-in, which is very to the times. My old Kindle had like this old Android charger that I was constantly losing and digging around to find, and it just wouldn't work very well all the time. But USB-C, very standard, fits into my Mac, my iPad, my phone, like it's great. It does not have wireless charging, but I don't think that's a huge deal, at least for me, because I just plug it in. It has 32 gigabytes of storage, which can hold roughly 24,000 ebooks, which is insane. I definitely couldn't hold 24,000 ebooks, so it is waterproof. So you can take it in the bath with you can take it to the beach and not worry about anything. You could even read in the shower if that's something you're into. But I don't want to know if that's something you're, let's just move on. And then one of my favorite features is that there are no ads on the front. This is the book I'm reading. Wow, isn't that amazing that my e-reading device will just show me the book on the front and not just a random ass ad like Amazon Kindle? Yeah, because all my other Kindles have ads on them. And you can technically turn this off for Amazon, you just have to pay extra for it. And in this case, I already paid extra by buying the device, so it's just built in without ads. And I don't feel like the company is trying to rip every cent out of me that they possibly can. And also, you can add a screensaver if you don't want the book cover of what you're reading being displayed. It's great if you read some like really smutty books and you just don't want like a naked man as the cover of your e-reader, but maybe you do, and that's personal preference. And speaking a little bit about things that Amazon does that are worse than what Kobo does, let's talk a little bit about the ability to download your books. So as of February 26, 2025, if you buy a Kindle ebook on the store, you can no longer download it. But if you buy from the Kobo store, you can download it and put it on any device that you own because it is rightfully yours. And I just love that the company promotes that. You could even buy a Kobo book and put it on your Kindle. I, of course, can just buy it right on my Kobo and read it right here, and so that's amazing for me. And I just really appreciate that Kobo is always trying to look out for the actual consumer who wants to read instead of just being like a hungry capitalist business. So yeah. And also, this video is not sponsored by Kobo. I'm just pleasantly surprised by a big business for once in my life, so let's hope that that doesn't change. And along with that note, there are some really cool features on how to get ebooks onto your Kobo device. So one of the ways is that you can just upload it to a Google Drive and then it'll just like populate in your Kobo library. You can like download it from there. And I have had this work several times seamlessly, which I cannot say the same for Amazon's Send to Kindle feature. And the other super cool feature is that Overdrive is built into the Kobo. And so if you don't know, Overdrive is a library app where you can rent library books that are ebooks and have them on your e-reader for a short period of time while you're reading it. And so on Kobo, instead of having to use your phone and then transferring it to your Kindle, you can actually just click on it on the Kobo device and it should just populate in your library super fast. This is really cool to see not only what's available, but to also just like be able to read super quickly. It's always great to have less friction between you and your books. And then another software feature that I think is really cool is that you can see all the stats that you've read from your books. So basically it'll show you like how long you've read a book and it'll show you this little graph. So I just think this is a really cute and fun reader-centric feature that is not on a lot of competitor models and just makes me want to read more because then I get to see the stats increase. And of course, I am just driven by external motivation always, so this is beautiful. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about the pros of some of the design itself. So by far my favorite pro is these side buttons. I had never used an e-reader with physical buttons before, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. I feel like it's so comfortable in my hand to just like turn the pages so fast. And it's really nice to just not have to like constantly take your finger off and tap or take your thumb up and tap. And you can just like keep your thumb down the whole time. Trust me, it makes a big difference when you're holding this for long periods of time. But of course, you also have the option to tap or to swipe to turn your pages. One of my other favorite features is that if you swipe on the side, it'll lower and brighten the brightness, which is actually so nice to not have to go into a separate menu to change all of these settings. And it's just like so nice and convenient. And whenever I switch back to my other e-readers, I always miss this feature because it just makes it so fast to change the brightness. And it's just the little things that make me feel like this e-reader just gets me and gets my reading style, and it makes me read faster, I feel like. And so yeah, it does not have auto brightness, which kind of sucks, but this feature totally makes up for it. Like, it is so easy to just change the brightness and I have so much fun with it. This also has a warm light feature. which is great to help protect your eyes. I don't always use it like all the time, and I do have e-readers without it, which I think are also fine. But of course, since this is the top of the line model, I was expecting to have this feature, and I'm glad that it's there. One of the other super cool things it can do is it has an auto rotate feature. So basically you can change the orientation if you want to read a different way, and it'll automatically flip the pages to go to the right way. And it really reminds me more of like my phone, which is super intuitive of it, and I really like that I can just switch it really fast. Something I also really like about it is it's actually made of recycled plastic, which is so fun and really good for the environment. So yay, it makes me feel better for the environment that I am very scared for. And I feel like it feels really nice. I don't think I'd be able to tell if you didn't tell me. It feels good. I like to feel it, you know? It also has a 7-inch screen, which is a pretty wide and like big screen, so you're gonna get a lot of text on there, which is something I like personally. Or if you like increase the size of the text, then you'll have more room to write on, which is also pretty cool. And you can pinch to zoom for the text as well. I just love talking about this e-reader because it's like, what feature doesn't it have? Oh, also really quick, something about the design is that it comes in both black and white, which I think is cool. And the stylus I have is the black one, but they did just launch a white one, which is very, very nice. There is one thing about the design that is maybe sort of a con, not for me personally though. I think it's fine. It's just that the display is a little bit indented, so it's not completely flush to the screen, and personally I feel like that's just like a looks preference, but it's true that probably some dust could like accumulate in those little crevices, so I did just put a screen protector on mine, one to protect it and also to just make sure it doesn't get dirty in there. I didn't do the most amazing job at putting the screen protector on, so there are some air bubbles, so just pretend you don't see them, okay? Okay, so now we're gonna get into some of the cons, and these aren't going to be cons for everyone. Most of them are not cons that really apply to me, but I do just want to get them out in the open in case these are deal breakers for you. So really, the biggest one is the price. The Kobo Libra Color comes in at $230, and the stylus on top of that is another $70. So you are paying $300 to have this e-reader, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong, that is a lot of money to spend on an e-reader. I will say, however, that this is the top of the line model. It has all the bells and whistles, and when compared to a e-reader like the Kindle Color Soft, which retails for roughly like $280, it has so many more features that the Kindle Color Soft could never replicate. In my opinion, I thought it was pretty worth it as someone that uses an ebook as my main way that I read, and also as someone that just loves technology and loves to find innovative tech all the time. I do know on the Kobo site they sometimes sell refurbished models of their Kobos. I haven't seen any of the Kobo Libras yet, but I'm sure there will be some soon. But at the end of the day, I totally get it. Spending $300 on an e-reader is a lot, and that's why it is a con for me, and of course it hurt to click buy. The next con is more of a maybe con, and it kind of just depends on your use case, and that is the size of it. This is kind of a chunky e-reader. It's very light, and I feel like it's pretty portable still, but compared to some of the other e-reader models, it is definitely bigger. In my opinion, that's good and kind of necessary, because how else are you going to have any space to write on it? Now, there are a couple of things on the display that are not my favorite. One of them is the brightness. I wish that it got a little bit brighter. I like to read in the sun sometimes, and occasionally I've been like, dang, is this as bright as you go? But it has not been to the point where it was unreadable. It was just more of a personal preference thing, and to be honest, it's not a huge deal. It's just me kind of being nitpicky. The other thing is the resolution. Because this is a color e-reader, it doesn't have the sharpest, crispest resolution ever. It apparently shows 300 pixels per inch for black and white content and only 150 pixels per inch for color content. And I don't usually look at the screen and am wowed by how crisp it is, the way I am with some of the other e-readers that I've reviewed, but honestly, it does not really bother me, and it doesn't impede me reading. I can still make out all the words fine, all the pictures fine, and I feel like it still looks really good. Obviously, you're probably not going to have this device next to another device to compare it to as much, so hopefully this shouldn't be a huge issue for anybody, and I really like the way it looks regardless of how many pixels per inch it has. And then the last con that I have is for people who want to switch from the Kindle ecosystem to the Kobo ecosystem. And this is not really Kobo's fault, but basically Amazon said that you can't download any of your books, which means you can't download them and switch them over to Kobo. So if you were going to move ecosystems, it would be harder to do so because you can't transfer your old Kindle books and put them directly on your Kobo. You would technically have to buy them back or find them elsewhere. And this is really frustrating as someone who did the switch from Kindle to Kobo and wasn't really able to move any of my books over, but luckily I've been buying on the Kobo ecosystem for now, and I don't tend to reference my ebooks a ton, so I'm okay with them sitting in my Kindle app, with the knowledge that if I wanted to go access those older books, I could use the Kindle app on my phone or my iPad or my Mac. But yeah, I definitely get if you're already embedded in the Kindle ecosystem, especially if you love to use Kindle Unlimited. Kobo does have a Kobo Unlimited feature, but I know that Kindle Unlimited books are sometimes exclusively on Kindle Unlimited, and if that's the type of book that you read often and that subscription is worth it to you, then I understand maybe not being able to do the switch. But I will say, as Amazon is continuing to get rid of your rights to download things, that switching over to Kobo is still a good idea, and you could possibly have two devices or have the Kindle app and the Kobo work in tandem together. But anyways, at the end of the day, I am so happy with my Kobo Libra Color purchase, and I feel like I enjoy reading so much more, and I just love how fast it is, how fun it is, and how much I've been able to read on it. And I've just overall had a really enjoyable experience reading on this new e-reader, even as someone who is so deeply ingrained in my Kindle ways. So I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you're super excited about the annotation or color features. I think that it's amazing. Even though it has some cons for me, none of them were deal breakers at all, and I still absolutely love the device, and I have decided to name it Martha, which is, I know, what you were waiting for this whole video. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have an amazing reading time after this, and please let me know if you check out the Kobo Libra Color or any of the other Kobo products. I would be so excited to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye!